You want to post every day, but you barely have time to post once a week. You see bigger VTubers putting out content constantly and wonder how do they have the time? The answer isn't that they work harder or that they have more hours in the day. It's just that they've built systems. As a small VTuber, you're wearing every hat: editor, community manager, artist, streamer, social media manager. You don't have a team, you are the team. That means every hour that you spend creating content has to count. This video is going to show you how to think in systems. Not just work faster, but make your ambitious content goals actually sustainable. So here's what we're covering: what a system actually is and why it matters for small VTubers, the 4-step framework for building any system, real VTuber workflow examples that you could use, and common mistakes that kill systems before they even start. So let's start with what a system actually is. A system is a well-defined solution to a recurring problem. You encounter a problem. The first time, you brute force it. The second time or third time, well, now it's recurring, and now you need a system. By well-defined, I mean you've thought out the cases and you wrote it down. This could be a checklist or a flow chart or a decision tree. As long as it clearly defines the solution, then it's a system. So here's what makes a system good. It reliably produces the desired result. For example, post at 9 a.m. daily is a system, but if you forget half the time, then it's not reliable. If 9 a.m. gets 0 engagement, then it's not producing the desired result. A better system: use a scheduling tool to schedule posts ahead of time. Check later to confirm your post goes live at 9 a.m. Now it's reliable and it gets results. Good systems keep you from hesitating. No more "where do I start?" or "what's next?" When you don't need to pause to figure out your next move, your work speeds up naturally. But systems aren't simply about working faster, they're about making ambitious goals physically possible. I use a system for making shorts, enough to post one every day. Without that system, I wouldn't be slower at making 7 shorts per week. I literally wouldn't be able to do it at all. It would take over 10 hours every week, and I don't have that time. The system doesn't just save time, it makes the goal sustainable instead of burning me out after 2 weeks. So how do you actually build a system? Let me show you with the framework. Here's how you build any system in 4 steps. I'll walk through this framework using my shorts extraction system as an example. Let's start with identifying your bottleneck. First, find what's actually slowing you down. Make a list of every action you take when creating content. Look for verbs. You decide when to upload. You edit clips. You evaluate ideas. You record videos. Write down everything. Then ask, which takes the longest? Which do I dread doing? Those are your bottlenecks. For me, the bottleneck was clear: making shorts. As a small VTuber, I needed to post 1 short per day, 7 per week to get exposure. That's how you introduce new eyes to your channel when you're starting out. When I factored in ideation, scripting, recording, and editing, each short was taking 90 minutes to make. So 7 shorts times 90 minutes, that's 10.5 hours each week just on shorts. If you have a full-time job, that might be all the time you have for content creation. That was my bottleneck. I wanted daily shorts, but I couldn't afford the 10 hours weekly to make them. Once you've identified the bottleneck, come up with a solution and document it. Don't just try it in your head, let's write it down. Your system could be numbered steps, a decision tree, a template, a checklist. Make it as detailed as you need it to be. Here's what I wrote down. When scripting a medium video, structure each section as a standalone short. Each section needs its own hook, complete story, and payoff. After recording the main video, cut out these sections. Minimal editing needed since they're already structured as shorts. Export and schedule. The key insight here is that I'm overlapping the work. Instead of making shorts separately, I'm building them into my video production. The recording session serves both purposes. Bad systems take longer to use than the original problem. If your system adds friction, then it's wrong. This one removes friction. Since I'm already scripting and recording the medium, now those actions produce 8 pieces of content instead of 1. Don't spend forever planning the perfect system either. Write down a plan, start using it, and adjust based on reality. Don't judge a system after the first day. Give it a real shot. 1 or 2 weeks minimum. Track how long things actually take. Notice what's working and what isn't. Pay attention to where you're still getting stuck. I tested my shorts extraction system for 2 weeks. I tracked the time per short. It drops from 90 minutes down to about 5 minutes per short. That's just to cut and to export. This part is important. Yes, I'm still spending time scripting and recording those sections, but I'm doing it anyway for the medium video. The overlap is the magic. With the old way, it's 10 hours for medium video, plus 10.5 for 7 separate shorts. With the new way, 10 hours for the medium video with the shorts pre-scripted into it, plus half an hour to cut them out. So we're down to 10.5 hours total for the same 8 pieces of content. That's 10 hours saved per week, enough to make the goal sustainable. Without this system, I couldn't create at this pace. It wouldn't be slower, it would be impossible. Most systems don't work perfectly on the first try. That's normal. The question is, do you tweak it or do you scrap it? My rule, if the problem still exists and you can't think of a completely different solution, you should keep iterating. For my shorts system, I'm still iterating the scripting structure. Some sections just work better as shorts than others. I'm learning which types of hooks work when extracted versus when they're in the full video context. So that's iteration. Small adjustments based on real feedback. If you want to know when you should abandon a system, the answer is when it's adding more work than it removes, or when the problem gets solved by something else entirely. Most of the time, you just need to keep tweaking. Small improvements make a big difference in the long run. That's the framework. Now let me show you what this would look like with some VTuber specific workflows. Let's apply the framework with 3 quick examples you can build this week. Let's say every Twitter post takes you 10 to 15 minutes. You load up VTube Studio, you make a funny face, you take a screenshot, add a background and some text, every single time. Well, that's a bottleneck. Here's a system. Batch create everything up front. Design 1 or 2 post templates with your branding. Fonts, colors, layout, make it consistent. Then take 20 to 30 screenshots of different expressions in one sitting. Happy, confused, excited, smug, whatever you use most. Save them in a folder labeled by emotion. Now, when you make a post, just drop a screenshot into your template, update the text, and export. You're done. 10 minutes per post down to 2. If you're posting daily, that's 56 minutes saved each week. As a bonus, your posts now have consistent branding. People recognize you instantly in their feed. Here's another one. You stream for 3 hours, then you spend another 2 hours rewatching the VOD trying to find funny moments for clips. Well, that's a lot. So what can we do? The system. Tag moments during the stream. Keep a text file or note open while you're streaming. When something clip-worthy happens, write down the timestamp in a one-word description. After the stream, you can open your VOD and jump straight to those timestamps. Batch edit all the clips in one session. A couple of hours of rewatching, down to 30 minutes of targeted editing. The real win here is that you actually make the clips instead of dreading the rewatch and never doing it. That's what good systems do. They make the work happen. Last one. You check Twitter, YouTube comments, and Discord randomly throughout the day. You want to keep up with your notifications. But then you see a mean comment that throws you off, or you start scrolling and get distracted when you're trying to create. The bottleneck isn't the engagement itself, it's the constant context switching. So here's the system. Block out specific times for community engagement instead of checking constantly. Set 2 daily windows, 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. During each window, you hit all platforms in order. YouTube comments, Twitter mentions, Discord messages. Outside of these windows, just don't check. Focus on creation. It's about protecting your deep work and reducing context switching. And when you do engage, you're actually present instead of distracted. Your community will notice the difference. These are just examples. Your bottlenecks might be different. That's fine. The framework is what matters. Identify the recurring problem, write down a solution, test it, and iterate. But before you go building your first system, let me save you some pain. Here are the mistakes that kill systems before they start. What you shouldn't do. Don't try to systematize everything at once. You get excited. You try to solve 5 problems in a week. You get overwhelmed, and none of them stick. Pick one bottleneck. Build a system to solve it, use it for 2 weeks, and don't do the next one until the first one's started to flow. That's how you actually build sustainable systems. Don't think you can get away with not writing it down. You think, I'll just remember to do it this way. But you won't. 3 days later, you're back to the old chaotic method because you forgot a step or you weren't sure what comes next. So write it down. Checklist, flowchart, bullet points, don't care. Just document it somewhere you can reference. If it's not written down, it's not a system. It's just a good intention. Document it and actually use it. Don't make the system too complicated. You design this elaborate 15-step process with contingencies and exceptions for every possible scenario, and it's too much friction. You stop using it after 2 days because it feels like more work than the original problem. So start simple. 3 to 5 steps. You can always add complexity later if you actually need it. Most of the time, you don't. Don't give up after one bad day. The system doesn't work perfectly on day 1, so you scrap it and go back to chaos. Test for 1 to 2 weeks minimum. Give it a real shot. Most systems just need small tweaks, not complete overhauls. Don't build systems for the wrong bottlenecks. Don't systematize something that only takes 5 minutes per week, instead of the thing that's eating 3 hours of your time. Be honest about where your time actually goes. Track it for a few days if you're not sure, then fix the biggest pain point first. That's where you'll see the impact. To take advantage of systems thinking, here's what you should do this week. Step 1. Make a list of every action you take when creating content. Every single one. Step 2. Circle the one that takes the longest or that you dread doing the most, because that's your bottleneck. Step 3. Come up with one solution and write it down. Step 4. Use it for 1 week. Track how long things take. Notice what works and what doesn't. Next week, you'll have everything you need to start iterating and improving. If you build a system this week, post about it on Twitter and tag me. I want to see what's working for you, and I'll retweet the best ones. If you want some help, leave a comment below with your biggest bottleneck right now as a VTuber. I'll offer any help that I can. Systems are the difference between I can't keep up and this is actually sustainable. I'm a small VTuber too. I've got 200 subscribers right now. But I'm posting 9 pieces of content per week to this channel while building a business to help creators like you. Systems make that possible. They're not perfect, I'm still iterating, but they keep me moving forward. If you want to see more content like this to grow your channel and go full time, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on X at @MeridianSensei for daily updates as I build this in public. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.